Hello, and welcome to another DevNation Live. As you can see in our chat right now, we have people from all over the planet, and that makes me very excited. I'm always happy to see so many people coming in from India and South America and Europe, and of course, North America here in the United States where we are, even up in Canada. So welcome to all of you here. We actually have a bunch of great content to talk about today. We're going to be showing you more about the serverless capability that we actually started just 2 weeks ago. Just hopefully you know that you're getting this DevNation Live content about twice a month. You'll get an email from me that basically talks about what's coming next, but just keep looking for us to keep coming out about twice a month with these great shows. Today we have Kamesh Sampath. He's coming to us from India also, and he's going to be walking us into the next layer of serverless architecture with the Kubernetes and OpenShift capability that you guys hopefully know and love. And of course, how does a Java developer engage some of this content? How do they build their first serverless functions? So Kamesh, we're ready for you. Go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much, Burr. Hello, everyone. So I'm quickly going to share my screen for you guys. So just to quickly get started, and it's going to be more of demos than slides from my side. So here we go. So I guess you guys are seeing my screen now. So just a quick startup window, like I'm just showing you a couple of things. So the first two things you see on my screen are those tutorials, which you can learn by yourself. And the last one is the link, the bit.ly link is for the slide deck that I'm going to run through you today. So my slides are not going to be really fast. I'm just going to hit only a few content, and then I'm just going to quickly jump into the demos, show things how it works actually for us. And just a quick intro about myself. This is what I am. I think you can pick out from my slides. And then I'm an active contributor to OpenWhisk and Eclipse Chain Fabricate platform and creator of Vertex Man plugin. And I work with Burr as part of his team and as a director of developer experience at Red Hat. And I'm really happy to see and meet you developers and talk to you guys today. Just quickly about serverless, very short definition from CNCF. So what serverless is all about, just quickly, a couple of words saying that you do not require server management, which doesn't mean that I don't have my servers running all the time for me. It's always on demand. And another one is like, I just need to write what I need to do, just a small function, and just get deployed onto your application server. And quickly onto the serverless cloud-native landscape. This is about CNCF right now defines, and we have pretty big players here. You could see OpenWhisk, you could see AWS, you could see Azure, and then there are a bunch of frameworks like Spring Cloud Functions, and AWS has its own, and serverless. And then you should keep getting across all these frameworks, platform, and other stuff, and each and every day when you start doing it serverless. And I'm just going to leave that to you. And today we are going to see how we have OpenWhisk and how to play with OpenWhisk on Kubernetes or OpenShift. So why do we need to do serverless? This is an interesting thing. I just got this data a couple of weeks back saying that why do I need serverless? The serverless gives you automatic scalability, cost reduction because I don't need to be running it every time. And then it gives you a better, quicker, and easier development because I'm just going to develop only my function, which is my business logic, not the entire other thing, which might not be mostly needed by the developers. And then it increases your developer agility. We'll see how quickly we develop functions, how quickly we change. But still, it's a maturing technology, so we might have a side effects as of now because still tools are maturing on that side. So debugging is pretty hard. And then deployment and architectural capability. I think Bird covered a very nice session on how do we complement microservices with serverless the last fortnight. And then I think this gives you a better picture on saying like whether I need to go with serverless or I need to go with microservices. So it's always complements each other. And there is no vendor locking as typically with respect to OpenWhisk. I'll talk about it in a couple of minutes now. And then doesn't have any kind of monitoring right now. So right now the big players are Lambda, AWS Lambda and Azure Functions, and IBM Functions is catching up with things. And then we, as part of Red Hat, we're doing it on top of Apache OpenWhisk, and then getting it deployed on Red Hat OpenShift platform to give you a fully functional function as a service platform. All right. So why we go OpenWhisk? Just a quick intro about OpenWhisk. It's still an open source product incubating under Apache, and then it gives you a bunch of a functional language where I can write JavaScript, Swift, Java, Python, PHP, Docker, and Go. All I need is that I just need to have a platform where Docker could be run, right? And then right now we are going to see how I'm going to deploy that on Kubernetes and OpenShift, and we already have something running on it. I'll show you how it looks when it's actually deployed on OpenShift. A very quick intro about some of the theory which will come across. I'll be using them when I'm doing my demo. I'll be talking to you about. I'll be saying that I'm deploying an action. So action or nothing but is a core entity of any serverless platform which gives you a stateless code snippet written in any functional language. You just talked about JavaScript, Java, or Python, Go, or anything in there. and that gets executed. So what's the next one is a package. You could just it's a kind of logical grouping of functions, and then where we set some parameters, default parameters, and make the functions pick up from the default parameters as well. Okay. Quickly on feeds, this is a very interesting part of any serverless programming language. Feeds gives you an interface between event sources and an OpenWhisk action, which basically which triggers. For example, I have a message broker putting a message in a queue, and then your function is picking up them and executing that. So if you have time, and today, I would love to show you that demo where I have a function over messaging. So it's typically simulating an ESB kind of a scenario for you. Right? And then triggers. Triggers are nothing but the action, the signals of external event. Let's say I dropped a message. What should now happen, or which trigger needs to be triggered, right? So that's what this trigger is all about. And then if you got rules, I need to have something which ties my trigger to an action, right? Which action needs to be invoked when this trigger is called. So that's what rule does basically. And finally, we have activation. Activation is nothing but the records of output response of running action, because mostly OpenWhisk actions or serverless action are asynchronous. So what I basically need to do is I need to know what happened to my action. If the action failed, I need to see the stack trace. If my action run, what's the output of my action? So all these things has to be seen a later point of time for auditing on any kind of purpose. That's what activation basically do. So we'll see about that as well as in the demo. I'll just show you how this do. These are the tools that's right now available for us on the tooling side of OpenWhisk. The first one is WSK, which is called as OpenWhisk CLI. So this is what we'll be using mostly in today's demo, and the rest of the other. And then you also have a Maven archetype, which helps you generate Java actions. So since I'm a Java guy, I will be showing you most of my actions on Java. So we'll see how this archetype helps you to create an actions on thing. And then there are a couple of other things like Whisk deploy, which is again a tool from Apache OpenWhisk, and there's a serverless framework, which is again a third-party framework, not part of Apache umbrella, but you could use that as well to build cross-functions which can be deployed across AWS, Azure, OpenWhisk, and any kind of platform. Okay. Quickly, the invocation patterns. I just want to really quickly cover. These are three basic invocation patterns for any serverless architecture could be. So one is asynchronous, which is by default. So all functions are asynchronous. We trigger it, and then if I get it, and it keeps running, and we go back and check with using your activation log. And synchronous, I can still make my function work synchronously. So you see one example of web action where I can have an HTTP URL to invoke the functions. But sometimes you might need to use it synchronously. So that's where synchronous function comes into picture. And the third one is schedule, something similar to your cron job. So I can have some function executed at this point of the time, at this point of the day, kind of stuff. All right. Fantastic. So this is how OpenWhisk is architected. The OpenWhisk is kind of have an Nginx controller. As we see all these components, these are all Docker containers, which is running inside Kubernetes or any kind of a Docker platform which you have. So Nginx is a right entry point. I'll show you that every call that I make, even using the Whisk CLI tool, is always going to be REST calls back to backend. And control, as the name states, is this the control which controls the entire stuff within the OpenWhisk architecture. And then we have CouchDB, which is used for persistence, and all your authorization, your parameters, your function details, and all those stuff are stored in CouchDB. And every time a function is invoked, the data is retrieved from the CouchDB, checks for your authorization details before it actually gets executed. In Kafka, Kafka is basically helped you use to kind of route the messages, because at no given point of time, the same function cannot be executed in parallel in OpenWhisk. That's how OpenWhisk is architected. So the Kafka helps you do the ordering of the messages so that the message flows in a sequence before it's getting executed. And each of these boxes which you see down below, these two are the OpenWhisk nodes. I mean, where the OpenWhisk is deployed. And we always have one invoker, which is a Docker container running. The invoker knows which in execution Docker container that it needs to call when this function is executed. So when Kafka pushes a message, the Kafka tells you that, okay, this is a Java function. It tells the invoker saying this is a Java function. You have to invoke the Java container to execute this particular function there. So that's what is basically does here. All right. So before wasting further time, I just want to show you quickly, get a feel of how the function works. I'm just going to share my screen for you. And all these things are available, as I told you earlier, that the two links which I gave you. So all the solutions, all the functions that are code that are getting executed are all available on GitHub for you. So you can go and execute it from there. So quickly, let's get quickly here. So I want to also have the console opened up. Even before I go there, I just want to show you guys about the place where you can download these to execute this action. This exactly. So for example, if you see my screen, this project are OpenWhisk OpenShift. So this is a GitHub project from where you can download this project and get it executed to deploy this on your Kubernetes or OpenShift platform. And you can also this is what I exactly did. So if you see my application console, if you see I have all these. I'm just blowing it up a bit for convenience. So you'll see all these containers. For example, I showed you about Nginx. I showed you about StreamZ controller, which is used to cluster controlling, and there's yeah, bro.
Could you go slow
Hello?
down just a little bit? Just slow down just a little bit. You're moving real fast, and I love it. But some people listen a little slower.
Okay, hold on. I'm just concerned about the time. So okay, fantastic. So I just slowed down a bit because I just have only demos to run through. So let me quickly get back to the screen where I'm talking about is from where I deployed and installed it. So you can once you have your mini shift running on your machine, so you can just go down to this particular project here. So project or OpenWhisk OpenShift. So you can go to this project, download this. These links are there already available on the tutorial as well as on the slide deck, which I shared with you guys. So you can just go there, and then all you need to do is execute a simple command, just like this, as you see in my screen. Just process HTTPS, and then you can just go and install OpenWhisk. The moment it takes a bit of time initially because it has to download a lot of containers before they spin it up. And then if you see this a successful deployment, you will see something like this on your screen. Like you should have one alarm provider, and then you should have one Nginx, as we saw in our architecture. We have one cluster controller, and then we have one stateful controller, which controls the controller component which you saw. CouchDB for your persistence. We have Invoker, and we have Kafka, and also we have a Zookeeper, which kind of does few other things internally. So you'll also see a couple of more warm containers. We call them as pre-warm containers in serverless terms, which means that these containers are already up and running to quickly execute some actions for you. You will see that these pre-warm containers comes into picture when we write our first function in a couple of seconds from now. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to show you my screen. So what's a function I'm going to create right now? It's a pretty simple JavaScript. So I'm just going to say, welcome to OpenWhisk on OpenShift. I'll just say, okay. So this one simple function which I'm going to do, it's going to return me a JSON payload the moment I create it. So as I told you earlier, so all I have to do is like, I'm just going to bring up my other window. So where I want to show you like how the containers come and go down. So I'm just going to do this Whisk -I, and then I say action. I told you that action is the core entity. So I'm going to create a function and then say, okay, I called action name as greeter. And then I say greeter.js. Say the function needs to be created. Oh my gosh, sorry. It's a mistake. So when you guys are moving from Kubernetes and Whisk, there's a smaller thing. It just swaps your command, so you just need to be pretty careful about it. So I just say action create. So this is a command we need to do. I say, okay, go ahead and create this action. So we'll see this action has been created. And then I say, okay, Whisk, how do I invoke this action? So this is from the CLI. But technically, if you are on a real serverless architecture, your microservices or your other applications going to invoke this action, but I'm going to invoke this from command line for your sake. I say, okay, greeter, the function name, action, I should call invoke. The next command verb I need to give, and then I say greeter -- result. I told you that there is two ways. One is to make asynchronous by default, another one is to do synchronous. I'll show you the first one as synchronous. I just want to get this command right out there on the screen. So if you see this, so you'll see this command getting quickly turned up, and I'll also show you once more that I'll go to invoke this again without the result, which is an asynchronous operation. And you'll see this, the pre-warm container coming up here, executing this. And if you want to go and see what's the output, I told you that I need to go check the activation log. I just go back to activation and then result, and then I say give the activation ID. So which is we got out of the command, and then you say we call this. So this is pretty much what you want to do when you want to write. And how quick is update? So I just go back and then say, okay, I just changed to DevNation Live. And then I go back and say, create the command again. So, and then I say, I guess this is much better. So I'm just going to say update. So all I do is update the action now, and then if you invoke again, so we'll see the container coming up again. Probably it's pre-warm, so it's pretty quick to come up and go down. Activation result. I can also use the L parameter, which is the last activation. So I don't have anything right now, so I just say activation result and then give the log ID, and then you see this command is getting executed there. So this is so quick to update. As you saw, is one of the benefits that I can just quickly develop and update all this stuff pretty quickly. So let's quickly go back and then see how do I create. So if you go back to my slide, the next one I was talking to you about is so how to create a Java actions. So so you can just read through the couple of analysis which I did with plain old Java functions, and then I also did with Spring Cloud functions. You could go and refer to the deck. There are some pros and cons about it. So I would skip that for now, and then I'm going to quickly jump and show you a couple of more demos where I can go to create two more Java actions. So the one thing I love about the Java actions with OpenWhisk is that let's quickly go ahead and open this Java class. So I have a Java sources here. For reference, I'm just going to blow a little bit up so that I can just navigate as well as it's clear for you. If you see this class, there's no big deal in this class. It's just a text JSON object. It needs to have a main method. Just follow some syntax, and then it needs to have a JSON objects as a return, and then it should take JSON objects because OpenWhisk always takes in JSON and gives back JSON. Right? And then it's the same, pretty much the same one which we saw a couple of minutes back with respect to the other functions. The other cool thing about this is that the way you need to test it, right? So for example, it's so easy to test because it's just a Java class, static main class, which I'm going to invoke. I don't need to have a real function environment, fast environment running for me to test this. For example, I'm just going to quickly click this run test, and you'll see this my test has failed right now. So I'm sorry. I just need to go back and check what's happened here. So okay, so there's something else. So I'll just keep that for now. So so what I'm going to quickly do is I just go back here and then compile this. How do I deploy this? Is to this, I can just go to hello OpenWhisk. How do you create this? You don't need to worry about, as I told you earlier, we have a archetype. So if you go to I'm just going to blow up this archetype for you. There's a command I just typed it ready for you guys. So if you see this from line 8 to 50, which I'm seeing right now on my screen, so this is a Maven archetype which is available. It's right now not available in the Maven Central. We're trying to push that back. So you can go to DevTools. For example, I have this link on the tutorial. Apache Incubator, github.com / incubator, Apache Incubator DevTools. Yeah. So this is the place where I need to go. Apache Incubator OpenWhisk DevTools, and then we have a Java action archetype right here. So this is something which you can go down, download that, and just do a Maven clean install to get it installed into your local Maven repo. And then the moment you have this, then it's easy for you to get started with like how I did here, just use Maven archetype to generate. The moment it generates, it gives you these two different classes for you. The one class is that it just gives you the class which can help you to create the main class, and then there's another test class which is used to test this thing for you. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a clean package just to save time. Just going to skip tests because we are just running out of time. I just need to quickly show you how this works. I'm just skipping test for now, and then you see there's this class getting generated, and then you have a jar. I don't even need to do an install. So all I have to go back to do is I just go copy the command which I already have created for us. So it's pretty much the same command. So the only difference between Java action is that I need to have a main class saying that if my jar has multiple classes from where we have multiple functions, then I can specify which main function has to be invoked for this particular class. So that's what I'm typically doing here. I'm just going to say Whisk action, create hello Whisk action, then give the jar name and the class that needs to be invoked, and that's all. So you have the class generated. I'm just going back to go and invoke this up. So what I'm going to do is whisk-i action invoke, and then I call this hello OpenWhisk function. I'm just going to make it synchronous, right? So result, I just want to show you this stuff for you so that you see this. Now you see this hello OpenWhisk, my container comes up, and then execute this hello OpenWhisk for you. and then it goes back again. So now it's a different container, as you saw in the earlier architecture. So the previous command we received a Node.js container. So your invoker knows which container has to be invoked. And now if you see, if you have deployed a Java action, now the container knows I need to go and call the Java container for this to be executed. Right? So you'll be wondering now, as your Java guys, we use REST APIs, we use gRPC, so we'll be quite interested to know how do I deploy web-based action. So I'm just going to do a web-based action. It's pretty much the same stuff, but the only thing is that if you see this code again, so all it has to do is like it just gives you a web URL, and then you'll see the responses back on your console using a curl command kind of stuff. So this is again. So I'm just going to do maven clean package fnt skip test. And if you see the while it packages that, I'm just going to show you this command. If you see this command, if you see, I just have one extra parameter saying that web equal to true, which makes that this particular command has a URL basically. The moment, how do I get a URL? This is a command to get the URL. If you see, I'm just going to show that for you to see how you can get the URL. So you'll see that you got a URL here. So I can just go ahead and then call it from the browser as well. So I have to say advanced, proceed. Okay. I'll just show you invoking from here. It might take some time for it to come back for JSON. Right. So the only big advantage was this is I'm just printing out all of the parameters that goes in and goes out. I'm just kind of turning it back as part of my payload. The good thing about this is that there's no verb definition. I can use get, post, whatever you want. And then the one which you fix at the last, right? For example, here I'm splitting this JSON, which sets the content type automatically for you. So you don't need to set the extra content type for you so that it knows what response has to be returned. So it goes and invokes a respective function inside that. I can also pass a parameter. For example, I'm just going to say name equal to, just give my name. And then if you see this, the name parameter is getting passed as part of your JSON request as well. So you can just grab this parameter using a JSON object, which gets passed into every different function. And then I can also pull out this name as well from that as well. So if we don't give this and then pass this name, you'll be wondering that this will be doing a pretty much a different stuff for you. And then just going to take out the JSON from here. Okay, I just need to copy this again. I use it without a name parameter, and then I say name equal to something else. Okay. Sorry. Use a curl better. That's much better than this. FNK so that I can avoid the stuff here. So I don't get anything because I literally don't know which content type I have to go. So basically, have all these examples again on the tutorial. You can just go back to your tutorial and then check these actions as well. So it helps you to learn much more better than this stuff. All right. So we've seen web actions, we have seen these things, we have seen a normal Java action, and we have seen other stuff. So the last but not the least stuff, which I'm going to show you, is that I'm going to show you how we can sequence multiple actions together. So that's the last part of this particular demo session, which you're going to have, and then I can turn it on to Q&A. So I have 3 different functions. Just going to build a very small function. Just going to go to the folder which has that. So sequence demo, and then I have 3 different. I have a sorter, splitter, and uppercase. 3 different functions. So I just send one function inside that, and this function is going to do something and pass the output, which is going to serve as an input for the next one. So so I'm just going to first build the sorter. I guess just let me go by the sequence of the commands which I have. So it's easy for me. So all I have to do is like first I have to create a package. So as I told you earlier, this also shows you, gives you my chance to show you that how to create a package. I will create a package now. What I'm going to do is like I'm just going to go to sorter, splitter first. So splitter does nothing but it just takes a comma separated strings and split them and then give you a JSON array back to you. So so no big logic there. So I'm just going to do same maven clean package. For these skip tests. Fine. So I'm going to go back, grab this command up, and then show you create this class. Splitter is done, and it's going back again to uppercase now. So let me fire the clean package command first before I go and grab the command for us. Hit this. So I'm just going to go back and then say, okay, come on, let's create this uppercase as well. All right, so we are done, and then I'm going to create uppercase. We are done with uppercase, and the last one is sorter. So let me go and call the package again so that my jar is ready, and then just going to go back and say package. All right, so we have package now. Now, the last command is that how do I create a sequence? So this becomes a little bit interesting here. So I just want to show you that. Just let me get out of from here and then, okay. You see my sequence of action. If you see this, so I just have a sequence parameter added to this, and then I give a list of actions, comma separate list of actions that needs to be part of the sequence. So one thing about OpenWhisk sequence is that this is static order. So the order in which it is given, it's kind of cannot be changed and once the function is invoked. Okay, there is something called as conductor, which is available in OpenWhisk. I don't have this demo right now with me, but that helps you to change your next action which needs to be invoked based on some condition in the first action. And also, you also need to keep in mind that only the first action in the sequence list gets the parameters that you pass, and for all of the actions, the output of the previous command is going to serve as an input of the new command. So that's what is going to go down and see. I'll just come back to the code in a moment. I'm just going to create an action for you. I'm just going to let me zoom that back in so that it's clear. So I just created this action, and then I'm going to invoke that as I told you earlier. So it's just going to be an action like this. I'm just going to pass a comma separated string, which is a lowercase jumble string like zebra, cat, and antelope, so that I can show you how it's sorted. And it'll also open up this console for you so that I can show you how the sequence of actions are invoked for you. You see the first splitter comes first, and then the uppercase now, and then finally we go back and then invoke the sorter, and then you get the result back, right? So you see now that I get the result with antelope, cat, zebra, blah blah blah, and all this stuff, and these actions go back in a certain moment of time. So the other good thing about this, like when you try to invoke these actions in a sequence, I mean in quicker successions, these containers will not go back; they'll be pre-warmed state, and then they'll start executing each and every stuff for you, right? So let me quickly jump to my slides to show you some interesting links and other stuff. The demo training, which is something which you have seen right now. And there are some event-driven capabilities. You can go back and check this stuff again. I guess I'm running out of time. Just have 3 more minutes. So one thing I want to show you about this is the cloud events. So right now the CNCF is working towards a specification that can have cloud events. Let's say I want to invoke an action from AWS Lambda from my serverless provider, for in this case Apache OpenWhisk. So they are coming up. All these PaaS providers, cloud providers, all these guys are coming together to define a common way by which I can share the metadata between each of these events, so that I can write my function to make it interoperable with other cloud providers. You can find more information on cloudevents.io, so we can just go there and then find other stuff as well there. Okay, the last stuff, which is again, I have another demo. If you go back to my the demo repository which I shared with you, so it has a demo which shows you an ActiveMQ based thing where I can drop a message into ActiveMQ, and then it's picked up by a trigger, and the trigger kinds of fires up some actions for you, and then at the end of the day, the action comes back, invokes multiple different actions. Like for example, one the same splitter sorter use case, but it written in different languages like Python, Java, Node, Golang, and then JavaScript. So which shows that the serverless platform is polyglot. You don't need to stick to one different language. Like for all our demos in today's session, we saw all the demos on Java, but you can still work on all of the languages and then combine them together to make it work for you. Right? So maybe I'll find another time where I can show these demos again with an advanced, fast kind of stuff where I can show how the feeds and triggers and events work together for you. All right. And that's pretty much I have. So again, these links once again for you. So you can just go to this bit.ly link. The first link is the tutorial where all the sources which you just now saw are all available in the bit.ly fast tutorial. Which shows you how to install by yourself using a Minishift on your local laptop and start doing stuff by yourself. And the second one is again an online platform. You can go to learn.openshift.com/serverless. All the things are pre-installed for you. All you have to do, go start practicing how to write a function, how to write a Java function, how to create a package, and all this stuff just now, like how we saw right now. And the link, a deck, which I right now, this particular deck, I skipped few slides because it's for you to read a bit later. So you can find this deck, write down the bit.ly link, which is right below there for you, so that you can pick out the slides and just start reading that for you. Yep. And that's pretty much it. And back to Burr, where we can just start taking questions if that's the case.